Beginning of time, one thing God set in motion was seeds. Now, I have three, a couple more, because we're going to make a salad. My thought was I want to give y'all something that was kind of a visual. At the same time, I want to give y'all something y'all could eat. So y'all can eat this lesson up. Y'all can eat it up spiritually and physically. So that's how y'all going to eat this up. Now, before we go further, I got a cucumber, avocado, apple, some tomatoes upstairs, but I got grape tomatoes upstairs. And what all of these items have in common, thanks Steph, is that they all have seeds. No. No, I ain't always that. I'm double clean in front of y'all so I can hear that. Now, we're going to start off with this cucumber. Just to take a look at this cucumber. This cucumber, Jimmy Red, is of the same seed as this cucumber. That be fair? Would we kind of agree that they're both cucumbers?
Yes.
Probably grown from the same vine, potentially, right? Tony, can you hold this cucumber? Yeah, we hold that cucumber. Now, both of y'all, and don't offend me, tell the truth. Look at both of them cucumbers together, and y'all tell me which one of them cucumbers y'all would choose to eat. Now, why, and if you could, explain to me why you choose that. Now, just keep it real. Let's talk about it. Bigger and it's prettier, right? Now, the berry, and I'm okay with that, because that is absolutely true. One cucumber, this one absolutely looks better.
Yeah.
If we had to choose a cucumber, we would choose this cucumber, because this cucumber looks good. This one's a little beat up, okay? Got some, I don't know what they call that on there, but it ain't on this. Whatever it is, they got some stuff on it. This one's smooth, it's kind of firm. It feels good when you touch it. Sometimes when we feel stuff, we like to touch stuff to feel good. Dev might be the only one with me that like to touch stuff to feel good. Because it's kind of natural to like to touch stuff that feels good. This one a little beat up. Kind of probably got dropped a few times. The outside of this one, a little rough. A little rough on this. So this is probably the one that we wouldn't choose. Sometimes when we get these cucumbers, that's how life is with us. We get beat up a little bit. Life beats us up a little bit. Maybe we didn't have the upbringing we wanted to have. We didn't have two parents. Maybe we didn't have one parent. Maybe we lived with our grandparents. Maybe somebody broke our heart growing up. Maybe we got addicted to drugs at some point. All of us got a little bruising on our cucumber. Let's keep it real. I'm just going to tell y'all that if y'all don't believe it. We all got some bruising on this cucumber. What the world will do, the world will select this cucumber because it looks good. And it'll use this cucumber until it starts looking like this. And that's why sometimes when the world looks at the cucumber for the world's purpose, I want this cucumber because it fulfills my individual purpose. So this one gets set aside. Now what's interesting about both these cucumbers when you think about it, although one looks better than the other, the reality is they're both the same on the inside. So, now that they're both the same on the inside, that may be why sometimes if you ever had that person that, I had my heart broke, don't y'all tell my wife this now. This for real conversation. No, I'm just teasing. I had my heart broke before a bad girl couldn't understand why she didn't like me. Because she couldn't see what was inside the cucumber. She only saw what was on the outside. And it didn't serve her purpose. Now, when we get to the inside of the cucumber, you find the potential. Because these seeds can grow another cucumber. In fact, these seeds can grow another 1,000 cucumbers. These seeds may be able to grow a vineyard of cucumbers. But the seeds are hidden inside the flesh.
Yeah.
So when people look at the flesh, they'll say, I don't want this cucumber because the flesh look bad. But they don't get inside the inside of it, beyond the flesh, and say, them seeds gonna be all right. That's gonna yield, a seed yields harvest in its time. When you plant a seed, it will harvest if planted and maintained properly. So to get to the seeds in this cucumber, I could just cut it, which I did. I could probably take this piece of exercise equipment and beat the flesh off of it. That'll get me to the seed. I guess I could soak it in acid, burn the skin off, and get to the seeds. There's a lot of ways to get to the potential of this cucumber. But some of the ways are a little more aggressive. Now, there's a tool that they make that might make it a little easier to get it up under the skin. And when I get up under the skin, I can actually expose the flesh if I'm going somewhere, because I'm exposed to flesh. Because I can't get to the promise that's inside of here when I'm looking at the skin. I got to get to the skin, get up under the skin, and I got to go through the flesh. So, once we get through the flesh, we get to our potential. Now, I looked at, because I was interested, and I was sitting at work and I was bored, I said, I wonder how long it takes to grow a cucumber. So I looked up a cucumber, avocado, tomatoes, and apples. An apple comes from a tree. I'm not a farmer. This is from the Farmer's Almanac. If this is wrong, don't challenge me on it. Got it from the internet. I have no idea. I'm from Pontiac. I ain't never planted nothing. I'm just going on what the internet says. I'll tell y'all right now. I'm going on what the internet says. So, an apple goes from tree bud to harvest in between 100 to 200 days, depending on the apple. Avocado can go from 8 to 15 months, depending on the type of avocado, or it can go from up to 8 months, which is the kind we grow in California. Cucumbers are picked within 45 to 65 days, depending on how big you want it to be. Smaller cucumbers are picked earlier. Those are the ones they use for pickles. And you see them really, really little pickles? Those are the ones used earlier. They let them grow so big, they become cucumbers. Okay? And tomatoes are interesting. Because tomatoes, now check this out.
Is it a fruit?
And if I'm going somewhere, if y'all can pick up on it, y'all feel this. Even though there are various types of tomatoes, tomatoes can go from plant to harvest in anywhere from, let me get it right, 45 days to 85 days, depending on the size. Now follow me here. This tomato is implanted in the ground. It's buried, right? It's buried in the proper soil to allow it to grow. Now this tomato is going to sit in the ground, and as it's planted by the farmer, it's going to be watered. When that water hits that seed, you get action. That seed starts to germinate. Now, once that seed is moving and it's underground, guess what? We can't see it. Nope. But it's still happening. Yeah. It's buried in the darkness. Yeah. Remember we talked about the darkness? Yeah. It's buried where it's dark. And in the darkness is where the movement starts taking place. And now this seed is starting to do a little something. And the farmer continues to water it just enough. But one thing that's funny, if you ever planted grass, I seem to have to do it every year. You gotta they used to put hay down. Kurt, you remember that when you used to plant grass, you put hay down? Why do you put the hay down when you plant grass?
Keep the birds from the seeds.
Because sometimes some can see that seed and come get it before it had its chance to develop.
Right.
So we put the hay down. I put it down. He had me put it down. I put the grass seed down too. But you put it down, and we put the hay down to protect the seed. Because the seed had potential. And the bird was going to use the seed for its purpose. But we had to put the hay over the seed to let the seed develop to its purpose. Okay? So when you plant that tomato seed in the ground, that tomato seed can't be seen, and it starts to work. It's starting to move. It's starting to do something. But it can't be seen. But by planting it in the ground, you can't get a deer or a raccoon or a squirrel that can just come get it. If they come for it, they got to dig for it. They got to work for it. It ain't easy to get. They got to expose it. They got to go get it. Now, once that thing gets to moving and it's protected in the ground, at some point it starts to sprout up just a little bit. Just one little bitty leaf will sprout up. Now the farmer can see, anyone with eyesight can see, there's something there. But it's been there the whole time. As that continues to water and it continues to grow in the right soil, in the right temperature, in the right conditions, that plant is going to continue to grow. And here's where we get stuck in life. The tomato plant grows, and it grows green. My daughter grew one this summer. That's how I know. She had one on my porch for a whole year. She called it Tom. Short for tomato, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, she grew one, though. She grew it in a bucket. You know, she did grow it. But the tomato grew up, and it was green. And if you don't know the purpose, you picked the tomato too soon. The tomato wasn't ready to be picked, but it looked good because now we thought it was ready. We had to give it a little more time. It's like when my wife cooking cookies or something and I'm upstairs. When she first put them in, I don't smell nothing. After about 20, 30 minutes, I said, you cook cookies? She said, yeah. Now I go downstairs and because I smell the cookies, I want the cookies. But they ain't ready yet. And that's the danger in pulling out too soon. When things start going okay and we start wanting in our lives, we start wanting what we want now. The farmer knows when to pick the tomato. And when it's God's time to pick you, when it's God's time to glorify you and what he has predestinated, you'll get it. But you got to be patient with him because we ready to be in charge. I want to be the fire chief. Well, maybe I ain't ready to be the fire chief. If I do come back next month, if y'all tend to have me, if Devin and them tend to have it, we're going to get into the story of Joseph. The story of Joseph, who, I'll hit this real quick and get back to the tomatoes. Joseph told, I said get back to tomatoes, I guess it was fun. Anyway, Joseph had a dream given to him. Joseph went and shared his dream with his brothers. I'm going to go real quick on this. This is what we're going to kind of get into next. I'll give you a little, if I do bring it back, just a little preview. Joseph shared his dream with his brothers. Joseph's brothers didn't like his dream. They didn't see it how he saw it. Well, one of the things I'll start off, and I'll leave y'all this, because this is something big. You can't share your dreams with everybody. Because God didn't give that dream to them. He gave that dream to him. And everybody ain't going to support you in what God gave you. A lot of times jealousy comes in. Now the story of Joseph goes, Joseph was sold, betrayed by his brothers. He was sent to prison. Joseph was lied on. And Joseph, in the end of the story, is fulfilled. In the very dream he had at 17, he was fulfilled at 30. But he had to go through something. Yeah. He went through being lied on by a woman. He went through his family betraying him. He went through being imprisoned by people, but it was already in play for him to be king. Joseph, the dream said he was going to be king. Now, sometimes we don't like the pathway we take, but we ain't the ones that set the pathway. We just want to get where we're going. That's where it gets to. Now, back to the tomatoes, though, because this tomato thing kind of had me interested when I looked at it. So I never thought that much about tomatoes. I like ketchup, that's about it. But anyway, so I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, remember I told you, tomatoes go from germination to harvest from 45 days to up to 75 days, I think it was. Roughly 80 days, depending on the size. Now, tomato A may be a 4-ounce tomato. 4-ounce tomatoes germinate between 35 and 45 days, ready to be picked. A 9 to 10 ounce tomato germinates between 65 and 70 days. A 16 ounce, the big tomatoes we see in the store, go from germination to full harvest in between 69 and 80 days. Here's what I'm trying to get to. We all may be tomatoes, but we could be different sizes. So you can't look at somebody else getting picked and say, I'm a tomato like he a tomato, why he getting his now? Because you may be a bigger tomato. It may just take a little more time for you to get what you're supposed to get. Because the little tomato get picked first. Now that ain't the little tomato fault. That don't mean it's a bad tomato. We still eat them. I'll eat some tonight. If y'all don't want them, just leave them there for me. Don't worry about it. But sometimes we may be the 1 pound tomato, the 16 ounce tomato, and we're still on the vine. And we look over, and a 4-ounce tomato got picked. Now he a 4-ounce tomato, and I'm a 4-ounce tomato too, because we all started off tomatoes at the same time. So now I'm sitting there wondering, hey man, I'm about to ground. Why JJ get picked and I ain't get picked? Well, maybe I'm destined to be a 10-ounce tomato. So I got to stay on the vine a little longer. I got to stay connected to the source a little longer. Time is one of our biggest enemies because we live in time. That's all we know. We're born in time. When we're born, they stamp a date. This is that time day you were born, they sign it. And when you die, they sign a certificate. But things go on whether we in time or not. And if we can stop thinking in time and start thinking in purpose and in godliness and fulfillment, we'll find ourselves less stressed and more on the way we need to go because we're not distracted with being in a hurry of saying, I'm ready for this. Because the question is, as Amos 3:3 said, God, are you ready for me to have that? Because we got to be in agreement. He already said he gave it to us before the world started. It was already in his will. And he going to work it out. Worketh all things. He going to work it out. Maybe we need to agree with him. Let's try it. So with that, that's all I really have for y'all. Let's try